Now, conservation efforts within Tsavo landscape have received a boost after African Wildlife Foundation, AWF, sponsored 5 students after a competitive selection of Best Conservation Composition. According to AWF Director Nancy Githaiga, the scholarship aims at building young conservationists around the community that borders the Tsavo landscape and end the human-wildlife conflict by educating them on the importance of conservation. Hezron Kimari reports from Voi.
Well, as a strategy to boost conservation efforts within Tsavo landscape, African Wildlife Foundation has introduced a scholarship program to fund students from areas bordering the Tsavo landscape who mainly have been facing human-wildlife conflict as a way to make them love conservation and also wildlife. And now we'll be having opportunity to hear sentiments from the students who are beneficiaries and also the National Director for AWF.
Yeah, so we are looking at building champions at the level where it matters. We are wildlife champions like myself. I do not necessarily come from an area where we have wildlife, but this youth that you see here, hawa vijana ambao mnawaona, they live with wildlife every day. But their interaction with wildlife is slightly different. As I said, they look at wildlife as a liability. They've not met the wildlife in a good way. Aidha kumekuwa na changamoto, aidha mifugo yao imekufa ama mimea yao imeharibiwa na wanyamapori. So their relationship with wildlife is slightly different. But our hope is that beginning with this small cohort, wataweza kuwa champions and they will be able to impact their village.
One of the biggest is deforestation, which leads to loss of habitat. So wildlife there, particularly animals, wild animals, lack habitat where to stay, so it leads to human-animal conflict where we fight elephants, snakes, and they really reduce because human beings are more than the animals, so the animals have a disadvantage, so it leads to the extinction.
Program na maana kwa sababu kule ambapo nimetokea watu hata hawajui muhimu wa wanyama, hawajui muhimu wa kulinda mazingira yetu. Sasa mimi nimechukua hii opportunity niwaelimishe na waweze kuelewa kwa wanyama wana umuhimu na pia kulinda mazingira pia na umuhimu sana.
Kwanza nimefurahi sababu hii ni kama kupatia watoto motisha kwamba mazingira ni muhimu. Saa hii duniani kote kuna hii term wanatumia inaitwa sustainability and climate action. Na mara mingi ni mambo ambayo tunasikia darasani. Lakini ni mambo ambayo tunastahili katika utoto wetu tukikuzwa tuwe tunajua kwamba mazingira ni muhimu kwa kwetu sisi wanyama na kizazi kinachokuja.
This program can now help me educate my community about the conservation of wildlife and how to conserve the environment instead of burning, instead of deforestation, how to use other resources in their gain.
So we had over 200 applications and it was such a big job, to go through that and pick the first 5. Our hope is that this number will keep increasing as we go along. We'll pick another 5 or more next year, another 5 or more next year. So if we can get more support, but for where we've begun, we should have a small group of very committed champions.
Well, and these are some of the initiatives by AWF and other organizations towards promoting conservation and also education by involving students. Reporting for KTN from Voi, I'm Hezron Kimari.
Right, with that, we've come to the end of this section.